Non-Kshatriya kings. According to the Shastras, only Kshatriyas could be kings. However, several important ruling lineages or dynasties had different origins. For example, the social background of the Mauryas, the Mauryan dynasty, who ruled over a large empire, has been hotly debated. While later Buddhist texts suggest they were Kshatriyas, Brahminical texts describe them as a being of low origin. So there is no unanimity about their origins. Buddhist texts say that they were Kshatriyas. On the other hand, Brahminical texts claim that they belong to a low origin, proving that there was dispute about Kshatriyas being kings, because one source says they were of low origin. Another example is of the Shungas and the Kanvas. The immediate successors of the Mauryas were reportedly Brahmins. The fact that political power was effectively open to anyone who could muster support and resources and rarely depended on birth as a Kshatriya. This goes to say that political power or becoming king was open to anyone who could muster support or gather support and resources and rarely depended on birth as a Kshatriya. So who was not born a Kshatriya could be king. There were other rulers such as the Shakas, who came from Central Asia and were regarded as the Malays or the Malacha. They were considered barbarians or outsiders by the Brahmins. However, one of the earliest inscriptions in Sanskrit describes how Rudradaman, the best known Shaka ruler of the 2nd century CE, rebuilt the Sudarshan lake. This shows that Rudradaman, who was a Shaka, who was a Malay or a barbarian or an outsider, had become king. This goes to show that only Kshatriyas were not king. People of other origins also became kings. This suggests that powerful Malays were familiar with Sanskritic traditions. It is also interesting to note that the best known ruler of the Satavahana dynasty, the Gautami Putra Shri Satkarni, claimed to be both a unique Brahman, Ek Baman, and a destroyer of the pride of Kshatriyas. The Satavahana ruler, his name was Gautami Putra Shri Satkarni, he said that he is a Brahman, he himself claiming himself to be a Brahman. This shows that he is not a Kshatriya. In fact, he was saying that he destroyed the pride of the Kshatriyas by becoming king. So this goes on to show that non-Kshatriyas were becoming kings. He also claimed to have ensured that there was no intermarriage among the members of the 4 Varnas. At the same time, he entered into a marriage alliance with the king of Rudradaman. On one hand, he wants to uphold the Varna system. At the second stage, he entered into alliance with the king of Rudradaman, who was an outsider and not within the fold of the Varna system. As you can see from this example, integration within the framework of caste was often a complicated process. How to include the non-Varna members into the caste system, into the Varna system, or how to establish relations with the people who are outside the fourfold Varna system. It was a complex program. It was a complicated process. How to integrate or involve them or include them in the caste framework. The Satavahanas claimed to be Brahmins, whereas according to the Brahmins, kings ought to have been Kshatriyas. Brahmins said that only Kshatriyas have the right to become kings. So, the texts, the literature, the Shastras, the holy books are saying, the Brahmins are saying that Kshatriyas should be kings. A person who is a Kshatriya can only become king. Whereas the Satavahanas are saying that we are Brahmins. I am a Brahman and he is becoming a king. This goes on to show that a Brahman could become a king and necessarily Kshatriyas were not kings. They claimed to uphold the fourfold Varna order but entered into marriage alliances with people who were supposed to be excluded from the system. This has already been given example in the previous paragraph. And as we have seen, they practiced endogamy instead of the exogamous system recommended in the Brahminical texts. The Dharma Shastra, the Dharma Sutras, the Brahminical literature, the Brahminical text said that the marriages should be exogamy, outside their own caste. But they were practicing endogamy within the same unit. This goes on to show that the Varna system was not very strictly followed, and similarly there were non-Kshatriya kings, and Kshatriyas did not necessarily become kings. Non-Kshatriyas could also become kings.